I'm genuinely concerned, not just for young people, but also for adults. Because adults fall into that desire to be liked kind of vibe, that desire to be known, and the desire to remain relevant. You remember when Facebook only had like alone, like and dislike?
Yes.
And then they introduced like, love, care, and whatnot, right? That was their attempt to try to soften the blow of the impact of the currency, like to devalue the currency of a like.
Yes.
And yeah, so they're being forced to try to do that now because they realize the social impact of it on society is going to cause people to be dependent on their popularity or their influence or status. And that's dangerous because people on the internet fake. Because the same way you live for their like, when somebody starts to put hate comments, you'll take it on. Right. So the reason, like, you could put a hate comment on my post and I could be like, thanks. And you, right. Yeah, right. It's fake, yes. Because it's contrived. You are literally putting on a show for these people to like you. And the people that really have their head on in social media, they don't care what you think, you know. I'm genuinely concerned, not just for young people, but also for adults. Because adults fall into that desire to be liked kind of vibe, that desire to be known, and the desire to remain relevant. That is... Yeah. That desire to remain relevant, you just do some dumb stuff because you want to see the... Now, this is different from experimenting. There are some people who have careers and they have to pivot. Like most sports people, after they reach 36, they have to start to now take, all right, how are we going to go into business? Because at 40, I have to retire. And most of them, like Shaq and all those fellas and them, they was like, all right, cool. I'm going to start to buy up some businesses, go and get some education on businesses so that in my 40s to 50s, I can manage these things. Those are the smart ones. But you see, when your athlete career done, and you're like, I'm going to be a rapper, I'm going to do this, or that kind of thing, and you're trying your best to remain relevant and doing some dumb stuff, you're living for the likes, you're living for the appreciation, and that causes you to lose your identity. And identity on the internet is so fake because you nowhere in the world or no ever time in history were you able to create a version of yourself that is totally separated from your real personality. You was never able to do that. As much as possible, like if you switch schools, right? You know, like if you went to school and you transfer in Form 2 and you're like, all right, cool. I was a geek in the last school, by this school, I'm gonna be cool. Right, that's the closest thing. That's the closest thing you could come to to create a new identity. But no ever time in history were you able to create a fake identity and then manage that because you get to be who you want to be. You get to be a person with a six-pack. You get to be the funniest person or whatnot. And when you create a false identity that's separated from who you really are, you'll never be able to maintain it. And once you can't maintain it and you don't get the respect or the response that you wanted, depression from teenagers all the way up to adults. And that's the downside of the bubble. I'll get to the good side of the bubble and I'll tell you all how to use the bubble properly.